Hello and welcome to the Back Garden Garage, where I am currently restoring a BMW E30. Or at least that's what it's supposed to be doing. I've got distracted with a side quest on a Saxo VTR. Now me and my brother well, the plan was just to tidy up some of the trim work. A little bit faded, discoloured. But what we found is there was a water leak inside. Now that had made the headlining go all mouldy. Removed it, found the sunroof channels had rotten out completely. That required some new panels to be made. We found an additional 3 other water leaks as well. So the whole interior came out of it. It's been sat in the garage on top of the BMW, so I couldn't cut, grind, weld or anything in there. Now the Saxo's been fixed. The interior is back together. We still need to do the trim work on it or just finish it up to back where we started originally, but it looks fantastic inside now. Now I should have filmed it, would have been interesting, but I didn't. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a job, and it was. So that's all done, and I can finally get back on this BMW. Now in the last video, I managed to cut out all of the rotten metal and get new metal in place in there. There's a couple of little jobs that I need to finish up before I can get a coat of primer on here. Now, I'm going to start with some studs. Now there are a number of studs that need to be replaced in this wheel arch, so let's crack on with that. Before I do that, quick question for the BMW fanatics among you. The rear arches on this car, now they are kind of half rolled over. Now what I don't know, is that a factory thing or has somebody just done that? I've no idea, just curious. Anybody knows, just let me know in the comments below. So I don't have any of the correct studs or like a stud gun welder or anything like that. So I'm just going to use some screws. Now these are M5 by 20mm screws, which will allow me to just grind them down to the right length if I feel it's necessary. And I just grind the heads down on the top so they are nice and thin and flat. And what that will allow me to do, once I've cleaned up the area and location that it needs to go, it's just hold it in place and tack it on. It only needs a couple of tacks. These things are just holding on heat shields and things like that. No structure to it, no real weight. So that would be more than adequate for the job. Now I'm definitely known for overcomplicating things sometimes, as evidence of me building this rotisserie for this car to sit on. Maybe over the top for what was needed, but we're here now, so to do a nice simple repair like that makes the world of difference. Now I will say you do need to just take the top of this screw off, just with the grinder, because if you don't, you will seem to stab yourself with it every single time you walk past the car. So yeah, that's a word of warning to you. Now the 3 more studs left to do. I am just going to quickly smash those out now. Wait, I didn't press record. No quick welding transition to the next section then. So that's that arch ready to go, all bar a bit of rust removal. Now I'm not talking rust like this, because like I said, that is all done in the arch. What I'm talking about is rust like this. It is just a very fine surface rust on some of the metal. Nothing that's worth cutting out and replacing, but something I would rather treat now while obviously the car is in this condition. So up to this point, what I've been doing for the surface rust, like I've just shown you, is to take it back with a sander, wire wheel, flappy disc, whatever I need to do, and then treating it with a rust converter, and I'm using a Dimetrol product from this one. Now this rust converter has an epoxy primer built into it. It's been working okay, it seems okay. I will say the epoxy strength to the bonding of the metalwork is nowhere near as strong as like a proper 2K epoxy or 2-part epoxy that I've been using on the rest of it. In most places that's not going to be an issue, but I'm going to try something new, and that is mainly because I've been getting a huge amounts of comments and recommendations to use a different product, and it seems to be really highly recommended. Now that product, some of you will be really happy to see, is Bilt Hamber Deox-Gel. Now this is in no way an instruction video of how to use it, because this is my first time using it, so I'm by no means an expert in this, but I've just been reading through the instructions, and essentially when I am done with it, I need to get paint on there straight away and get it primered over. I'm assuming because the metal's going to be more exposed and more porous or ready to take any rust on. So before I start applying any of this stuff, what I need to do is get this wheel arch ready so that when this is removed and cleaned up, I can then just spray it on. Because at the moment I have still got some old etch primer and bits of paint and protection on there. Now I'm not going to go back to full bare metal. I'm just going to scuff up like the e-coating on here. But obviously there's a bit to do. So I am going to get all of this coating removed, get all of the rust sanded back, just with, like I say, a sander, wire wheel, maybe a flappy disc if I find it necessary. But yeah, I'm just going to get this prepped, ready to apply this and see how it works. So I just start off with a wire wheel in the grinder and just go over and remove all of the old primer. So that is the bulk of that done. Then I'll go over with a big sander to begin with, getting the big flat areas. Then I'll get a smaller little sander out on the airline and just go over and scuff up all of the rusty areas, as well as getting in the sort of more tricky places that the big sander doesn't fit. And then I also did find a couple of little pinholes, so while I was here I just welded those up. So that is this arch cleaned up and ready to paint. But before we do that, obviously I want to get this rust converter on there. Now, according to the instructions, what I've done is fine, clean it up, wire wheel, brushes, scuff it up. I've also cleaned up the areas that I'm going to treat with a bit of white spirit as well. Now, the areas that I'm going to concentrate on are the section where the subframe mounts. I'm also going to tackle the side of the chassis leg, as well as where the strut mounts up into, because there was a bit of surface rust there. Again, not bad, but I'll just treat it and give this Bilt Hamber a go and see what results we get. So I've got a pot here of hot soapy water. I guess it's like a degreaser, I suppose. 2 cloths. I'm going to dunk the cloth, wipe it over, and then dry it off afterwards. And that should be these areas ready to apply this this gel. So I don't know the best way to apply this, so I'm just going to use a brush. I don't know how much I'm going to need either. It does say you need a nice even coat, so I'm just trying to keep it even, I guess. I really don't know. Don't know what to expect, so I can blame you guys if it's no good. Because yeah, the amount of people that suggest this stuff is quite incredible. I never actually heard of Bilt Hamber before starting filming this channel. In fact, the first time someone suggested it, I actually put it into Google Translate because didn't have a clue what they were trying to tell me. But, well, I suppose the results will hopefully speak for themselves and give me either a product to use or not, I guess. So let me apply all this and then we can move on. So I think I was being a bit too conservative. I ended up just slapping a lot more on. Maybe it's a bit too thick now. I don't know. But that is applied. So what I'm going to do, because it says you need to leave it 30 minutes, 2 hours, sometimes 48 hours, depending how bad it is. So the racing is about to start. So I'm going to get it covered in a bit of cling film just to keep the moisture in it. Let it sit. And I will join you in however long it takes. What I think I'm actually going to do is leave that for 24 hours and give it a maximum chance to actually clean up and do its job. Might be excessive. Let me know in the comments if how you go about it, how long do you leave it? Am I doing it right? I assume I am, because I'm following the instructions, but sometimes there's always a bit of wiggle room. Anyway, in the meantime, what I need to do is sort of a bit of a problem I got out with my Ford Fiesta. Now, if you aren't familiar with the channel or haven't been here for a while, this is a 2005 Ford Fiesta ST that I have owned since new, over 20 years now. Quite scary really, how the time goes on. Now this thing has gone through many different iterations and modifications in its life. It started obviously standard, bought it new, 7 miles on the clock. As soon as the warranty was up, fitted a supercharger, it just escalated. Currently, it's got a turbo fitted to it, somewhere over 300 horsepower, something like that. Needs a bit of TLC, but had a bit of an issue when taking it for MOT. I'll show you what's happened. So this ratchet strap might have give you a slight clue of what's going on, as well as the angle of the engine. So yes, this is what remains of the bolt of the engine mount. Snapped off, gearbox has dropped down. Now this hasn't got a standard gearbox in it, it's a big heavy MTX gearbox, limited slip diff, and yeah, it's just not been able to cope. Now this was an engine mount bolt for an upgraded engine mount or gearbox mount for the standard gearbox, and obviously it was just too much abuse for it. I'm hoping all I can do for a quick fix to get this back on the road is just remove the top of the engine mount, remove the broken section of bolt, and just put a new one in there for the time being. The car does need a bit of TLC. There's some things I need to address on it, but at the moment, obviously, with the BMW going on and with the Saxo on the drive, it's starting to look a little bit like a hot hatch graveyard. So let's get at least one of them back on the road. Now, if I start off just by jacking this up a little bit, take the weight off of it, because as you can probably see, there is not a lot of room to move in this engine bay. I'll take some pipes out. I'm hoping I can take off the broken section and mount without fully disassemble it and make it a nice quick job. So let's get you on time lapse and we'll find out. Now it did become obvious looking back at this footage, you can't see hardly anything that's going on. I just need to remove a few pipes to be able to get my hands down in the sides, but yeah, you can't see it. So I'm just going to skip to the offending broken component. So there's the offending bolt. Now I'm hoping it's not going to be too tight. There is no access underneath, but what I'm hoping is I can just get a punch and a hammer. It's not tight in there, and I can just tap it out, hammer it out. So let's have a little go. So spoiler alert, it didn't come out. This was tight. Yeah, absolutely no hope. Well, no, that didn't work. So let's try drilling it out instead then, shall we? No idea why I picked up a hand drill when I've got a little pillar drill here. These things work absolute wonders. Only cheap off of Facebook Marketplace, this one, but makes life so much easier. Now I've got a little easy out here. Let's see if it works, because in theory this bolt shouldn't be that tight, but who knows? If it don't work, I'll just drill it out a little bit bigger. I'll try a bigger one. Probably not the right tools, but it's what it is. Yeah, I can see that flexing. That, I think, it's gonna snap. Let's drill it out a bit bigger. So much for a quick fix, quick and easy. Managed to get the mount out okay, but the thread was, by the time I would finish with it anyway, totally shot. So what I'm going to have to do is get a helicoil kit just to retap some threads into here and open it out a little bit. Now then, I've got to wait for that. Got to wait for the Bilt Hamber. I will see you when this gel has done its stuff. So I've got what I need, and I'm going to start off. Hang on, let's start off by moving this this stuff out the way. Too many jobs on the go. Freshly painted wiper arms, as I say, doing the sack so what. Now I've got myself a helicoil kit. I've obviously got the mount, so I'm just going to quickly get this side quest all finished up, drilled out, back on the car, and I can forget about it. To install the helicoil, I just need to cut some threads into the mount that are oversized, and then I can put the insert in and just test it out with a bolt just to make sure that the threads are good. Now unfortunately I did realise you can't see much at all with me working in here. There's just isn't the space. Who would have thought with a 2-litre engine, turbo, intercooler piping, breather box, there would be no room. So what I'm going to do, get this mount on, 3 bolts onto the gearbox, centre bolt holds it onto the chassis. Now I'm sure many of you are here for the BMW to see that progress, but there might be 1 or 2 of you interested in this car. I have got a full build series of videos. This is some of the first videos I did on the channel. Video editing quality, I warn you, is not the best, but you'll get the idea. You can see what's gone into it, all of the custom work involved. But if not, I will be done very shortly, and we can get back on this BMW and get it all painted. There we go. All done for the time being. Just need to rearrange the MOT. Got away with it quite lightly, really. I do need to replace a clip on the drive shaft, but the CV boot was caught up. But when it's on the MOT ramp, I'll just get them to put a clip on it, because that'll be much easier. Jobs are good, and let's get on to the interesting stuff now, shall we? So, yeah, this has been sat now 24 hours. Still feels soft underneath the and wet underneath the cling film, so I guess it's still active. Some funny colours in there. There were some browns and some whites. No idea if it's normal. You have to let me know. And yeah, so what I'm going to do now is take off this cling film, and it says use a wire wheel or abrasive pad. Now, what I've done, I haven't got an abrasive pad as such. I've just got a new piece of Scotch-Brite, which I'm just going to go over with it. Who knows? Don't know. So let's get this plastic peeled off, scrub it away, and then I got some water and a plastic sort of bristle brush somewhere. There we go. And just wash it all down. So I guess I'm gonna crack on with doing that, and I'll get back to you with the end result. So there's definitely a lot more involved in this gel than just that spray-on stuff, that's for sure. Now it has, I'm glad to say, removed all of the rust. It is completely rust-free. You can see the pits, they're clean, they're empty, there's nothing in them. It may have even etched the metal a little bit as well, so perhaps good. Maybe I left it on a bit too long for that shallow rust. But it has definitely done the trick and left it now ready for me to paint. And I need to do that fairly quickly, because this is all exposed now and I don't want any flash rust starting. So I'm going to get my suit on and get some paint on here. Before we go any further, I will join you in a couple of days when this all dried off and we can see what it looks like. So I was starting to run a little bit low on time, so I just went ahead and painted this arch in the epoxy primer. Now, I have done a video covering sort of my process, although it was my first time trying it, so take it with a pinch of salt, but I'll leave a link in the top of the video if you want to see how I went about it. And the end result is left me with one grey arch. So that is, that's fantastic. Now, like I said, I was running a little bit low on time, and the results kind of show that, because there were some areas where there is some sort of blotchiness to the paint. The finish isn't uniform and smooth. I think maybe the paint was a little bit too thick, and it didn't quite atomize well enough. There's also some areas that are a bit patchy, and you can almost see through it where there's some thin spots. But there are also some good points where, like where the subframe mounts, that looks absolutely fine. Looks like it's covered well. So pros and cons, I guess. Now, I do intend to go over the whole car with a second coat once everything is done. So this is only sort of ever meant to be a light coating, just to protect it from rust, really. And yeah, so valuable lesson. Make sure I leave myself enough time when it comes to painting, because otherwise I'll have some mixed results. So my first impressions of the Bilt Hamber, it definitely removed the rust everywhere that I applied it. Now, it is only slight surface rust in the areas that I applied it, so it's given it maybe a bit of an easy task for it. But what I've got on the back of the car is the diff mounting, which will be difficult to get into. And I think that gel is the perfect test to see just how well it does work, because I won't be able to clean it fully. I won't be able to get in there with all of the tools. So yeah, I think I'll have a work cut out for it on that one. So I'm excited to see what result I get on that area. Now, I did intend to move on to the rear of the car in this video, but I think seeing how I have got one section complete and done, with the little side jobs of obviously my Fiesta and the Saxo getting in the way, I think it's a good time to leave this video here, and we'll start fresh, new, on a new section at the back in the next video. So if you like what you've seen, give me a like, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more, and I will see you next time.